I never thought a simple favor would change my entire life. It all started on a rainy Thursday evening when I agreed to cover an extra shift at the restaurant where I worked. Normally, I wouldn't have taken it, but my coworker begged me. Her kid was sick and she had no one else. That night, the place was unusually crowded. The storm outside forced people to stay longer, order more food, and linger over endless cups of coffee. I was exhausted, my shoes soaked through, when I noticed a group of 4 men at the far corner table. They weren't regulars. They dressed too sharp, their watches too expensive, and they spoke in hushed tones that didn't fit the noisy atmosphere of the diner. I wouldn't have cared, customers are customers, but one of them, the one with slicked back hair and a cruel smirk, kept staring at me. Not the casual kind of stare. The kind that made you feel like prey. Need another refill? I asked, forcing politeness. He smirked again. Sure. And maybe your number while you're at it. The others laughed, but their laughter wasn't light-hearted. It was dark, mocking. I brushed it off, filled his cup, and left as quickly as possible. Hours passed. Finally, closing time came and I stepped out into the rain-soaked street. The diner lights shut off behind me, and the night was silent except for the steady drumming of water on pavement. I thought I was alone, until I heard footsteps. Turning, I saw the same group of men. They weren't smiling anymore. Where you headed? The slick-haired one asked. Home, I said cautiously, my keys clenched in my fist. Perfect. We'll walk you there, he said, stepping closer. Panic shot through me. I wasn't stupid. I'd seen this kind of story on the news too many times. My gut screamed at me to run, but before I could move, one of them grabbed my arm. Don't touch me. I snapped, yanking free. That only made them laugh harder. What happened next was a blur of rain, shouts, and terror. They didn't care about the cameras across the street or the fact that cars passed occasionally. They shoved me against the wall, threatened me, made it clear they thought no one could stop them. But luck or fate intervened. A car pulled up suddenly, headlights flashing. A woman jumped out, yelling, "Hey! What the hell do you think you're doing?" She had her phone out, recording everything. The men froze like deer caught in headlights. Smile for the camera, jerks, she said, her voice steady. Cops are already on their way. They scattered like rats, disappearing into the rainy night. I stood there shaking, drenched and humiliated, but alive. The woman, her name was Lena, wrapped me in her jacket and waited with me until the police arrived. I told them everything, gave descriptions, even pointed out the direction they'd run. But the cops? They just exchanged a look. We'll file the report, one said flatly, but don't get your hopes up. Guys like that, they have connections. Connections. That word made my stomach turn. And sure enough, the next week I found out exactly what kind of connections they had. One of the men, slick hair, cruel smirk, was the son of a wealthy businessman who practically owned half the city. His friends were no different, all privileged, untouchable. The police never even followed up with me. And then the threats started. Anonymous messages slipped under my door. A smashed window in my apartment. A warning scratched into the paint of my car. Keep quiet. That was when I realized something important. Justice wasn't coming. Not from the police, not from the system. If I wanted payback, I would have to take it myself. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with Lena, because she refused to leave me alone after what happened, and I said the words that sealed my fate. They think they're untouchable. They think money and power will protect them. But they're wrong. I'm going to make sure they regret ever laying a hand on me. She didn't try to talk me out of it. She just nodded slowly, her eyes sharp. Then we'll do it smart, she said. No mistakes. No half measures. If we're going after men like them, we have to be careful. We'll need proof, strategy, leverage. Otherwise, we'll end up the ones paying the price. And so it began. The plan for revenge. The first rule of revenge is patience. It burned inside me like fire, screaming for action, but Lena was right. We couldn't just strike blindly. These men had money, lawyers, and friends in high places. One mistake and I'd be the one in handcuffs. So we started small. Lena was good with tech. She helped me install discreet cameras outside my apartment and near the diner. If those men came sniffing around again, we'd catch them. At the same time, I began digging into their lives. Their names weren't hard to find. Wealthy men love flaunting themselves online. Expensive cars, private parties, vacations overseas. And behind the smiles? A trail of scandals swept under the rug. Assault allegations, bribery rumors, drunk driving accidents that magically disappeared from police records. They weren't just rich kids misbehaving, they were predators who thought the world belonged to them. The worst part? Nobody stopped them. Because everyone was afraid. But I wasn't afraid anymore. One night, Lena and I followed Slick Hair. His name was Adrian, after he left a nightclub. He was drunk, stumbling, his driver carrying him like a spoiled child. We filmed everything, including the moment he shoved a woman who refused his advances. That video alone was damning. "Good start," Lena whispered. "But we need more. We need to hit all of them at once." Over the next weeks, we gathered piece by piece. Recordings of their threats, photos of them dealing under the table, financial documents Lena hacked from unsecured servers. It was like peeling back layers of rot, and every layer revealed something worse. But revenge isn't only about exposing the truth. It's about making them feel what I felt: helpless, cornered, afraid. So I started playing games. The first was simple. Adrian came home one night to find his prized Lamborghini spray painted with the words, "I saw what you did." He posted about it online, furious, blaming jealous nobodies. He had no idea it was me. The second target, Damien, prided himself on being untouchable in business. We leaked documents showing his illegal deals to a competitor. Within days, his company's stock plummeted. The third, Marcus, loved his reputation as a charitable man. But we caught him on camera at an underground fight club, cheering while blood splattered across the floor. When the footage hit social media, sponsors abandoned him overnight. Piece by piece, their worlds began to crumble. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. The real revenge, the one I dreamed of every night, wasn't about ruining reputations. It was about making them look me in the eye and know it was me who destroyed them. That moment came sooner than I expected. One rainy evening, just like the night they first cornered me, I received a message. An unknown number. "You think we don't know? Meet us. Midnight. Warehouse on River Street." I showed Lena. She frowned. "It's a trap." "Of course it is," I said. "But I'm done hiding. They want me? Fine. Let's finish this." We prepared carefully. Hidden recorders, backup phones, even a car parked nearby in case things went bad. My heart pounded as midnight approached, but I wasn't the same person they tried to break weeks ago. When I walked into that warehouse, they were waiting. Adrian, Damien, Marcus, and their last friend, Victor, the quietest but deadliest of them all. Well, Adrian sneered. "The little hero finally shows up." I smiled coldly. "Funny. I was thinking the same about you." They expected fear. What they saw instead was confidence, and that shook them. "You think you can play games with us?" Marcus barked. "We own this city. People like you are nothing." "Then why are you so scared?" I shot back. "Why call me here if I'm nothing? Maybe because you know the world's already watching. Maybe because everything you've done is one click away from destroying you." I could see it, the flicker of doubt in their eyes. For the first time, they weren't the hunters. They were the prey. And I was just getting started. The warehouse smelled of rust and gasoline. Rain hammered the tin roof, every drop echoing like a countdown. The four of them stood in front of me, confident, smug, but not as untouchable as before. "Enough talk," Victor growled. He stepped forward, muscles tense, fists clenched. He wasn't like the others. He didn't care about money or reputation. Violence was his language. I raised my hand slowly. "Before you do something stupid, you should know. This conversation is being recorded." Adrian laughed, but it was nervous. "You're bluffing." I tapped my pocket. A faint red light blinked. Their eyes followed it like moths. "You really think I'd walk in here alone?" "I've been broadcasting this whole meeting," I said calmly. "Every word, every threat, it's already uploaded. Even if you kill me, the world will see who you are by morning." Silence. Their arrogance cracked. Marcus cursed under his breath. Damien checked his phone frantically as if the proof might already be there. They weren't invincible anymore. They were trapped. Victor lunged anyway, fury blinding him. But before his fists could reach me, the sound of sirens filled the night. Police lights flashed through the broken windows. Adrian's face drained of color. You called them?" I shook my head. "No. You did this to yourselves." Because Lena, waiting outside, had sent the files at midnight sharp, just as we planned. Videos, documents, recordings. A complete dossier of their crimes delivered to journalists, watchdog groups, and yes, the police. The doors burst open. Officers stormed in, weapons raised. Hands where we can see them. For the first time, the four kings of the city froze like frightened children. Their power meant nothing now. The lies, the threats, the money, it couldn't protect them anymore. I stood there watching them being cuffed, dragged out into the rain. My chest rose and fell with relief. Weeks of fear, anger, and sleepless nights finally ended in this single moment. But the truth? Revenge didn't feel like I thought it would. It wasn't fire or rage. It was cold. Satisfying, yes, but also empty. Because no matter what happened to them, the scars they left on me would never fully fade. As Adrian was shoved into the police car, he looked at me through the glass. Pure hatred burned in his eyes. I leaned closer, whispering so only he could hear. You should have finished me that night. Now it's my turn to haunt you. The car door slammed shut. Lena appeared beside me, rain soaking her hair, but her smile was brighter than any sunrise. It's over, she said softly. I nodded. For them, maybe. For me, it's just the beginning. Because revenge isn't a single act. It's a reminder. A mark burned into the world saying, you can't break me. You can't erase me. They thought they were untouchable. Now they'll never forget my name.